Well, good morning, brothers. Now that we got rid of a sister, now we are brothers only. Okay. Welcome to lesson 16. It's very straightforward lesson. It's something that we skipped in some previous lessons, and we wanna just fit it in. And then after this lesson, we will be done with all the tenses. Done with all the tenses. So you don't have to worry anymore about the new things to memorize, but there's still some few that will actually come. The non-indicatives, the participles, lesson 18, 19, 20, and I think some subjunctives also, lesson 22. But then for now, let's look at what we have in lesson 16. Let's start by looking at what we are targeting, what we have to achieve. The first thing there is the introduction to the 6 principal parts of the verb. And this is the last one. There's no more. No other principal part of the verb. Because now I introduce these things week after week, and you tend to wonder when are we getting the last one? Okay, so lesson 16 introduces us to the 6 principal parts of the verbs. I will give you the list. I was looking for it in the office, I couldn't find it, but I have a list of words which you have to learn.
Is it the list we got last year?
Yeah. Do you have one?
I have one at the hostel.
Will you share with them and then they can make copies? I will also try and make some other copies. Please, make sure by...
Bring it to class next week, Wednesday, when we have class again.
Not Tuesday, we're not having class. It's a Friday time, so we meet Wednesday. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Please.
When are we supposed to be in class?
10? Think you are 10 guys or 9? Yeah. But just make 10 for the sake. I might have missed my papers also, so I'll get yours from you. Okay? Right, so that is very important. Now our task is to recognize and explain the 6 principal parts of the verb. So I will give you a verb, and then you have to do the horizontal conjugation. You still remember the other principal parts of the verb? Serami?
Horizontal?
Yeah, yes. No, just tell me the tenses.
The past tense?
No. What is it? What are they? Yandre, you want to try? The present indicative active, and we're only talking about first person singular, okay? And then?
Imperfect.
No.
Future.
It's the future, okay? And? Aorist, good. And what else? It's the perfect indicative active, and the perfect... Is it middle or passive? Yeah. Okay. Good. And then the 6th one is what we are coming to. Okay. So the present, future, aorist, perfect indicative active, the perfect middle passive, and then the aorist passive. All right. So that will be our 6 principal parts of the verb. Okay. And secondly, we will also look at the forms of the aorist passive indicative. We have to recognize and explain them. All right. And then the forms also, recognize and explain the forms of the future passive indicative. Like I said, this is something that we skipped in the previous lessons. Now we just have to fit it in. We have dealt already with the aorist indicative active and the middle form, and also the future indicative active. But we did not deal with the future passive. So this is something we're just fitting in. It's not a new thing. It's still the aorist tense and the future tense as we know it. But then how do we form them and so forth? That's basically what we are doing today. Okay? And then second last, recognize and explain the aorist passive infinitive. I will refer you to the book. And lastly, to recognize and explain the formation of the aorist passive. Now, this might sound like I'm wasting time in telling you this every week in and week out. I really need you to work on this. Recognition, and explaining. That is very, very important at this basic level. Okay? When we go now to the Bible text, this skill will be needed. Okay? Because then you won't have Croy to tell you all the forms and how to conjugate and all the paradigms. We will be dealing with the Bible only. Alone. So the skill of recognizing and explaining. Oh, you look at the word and say, oh, I see this, I see that. Try and eliminate all the other possibilities and tell me what is it or what it is. No. It's very, very important. So please, I'm not just wasting time by mentioning all these things. It's very, very important. We really want to recognize, we must know, look at what you are reading and be able to tell me what is going on here. All right? That's why we're taking time also studying how are these forms formed. Okay? Right, the sixth principal part of the verb, very straightforward again. And the last, that's what I'm emphasizing, to your joy. The sixth principal part of the verb is the aorist passive indicative, okay, with the first person singular ending, eluthen. We will deal with the form. You can still see the argument, but you see something funny there, something unusual, okay, in as far as the aorist is concerned. But then that is how the present the aorist passive indicative first person singular of luo looks like. And that is your sixth and the last principal part of the verb. So let's recapitulate. All the principal parts of the verb, 6 of them, we start with the present indicative active, and then future indicative active, and aorist indicative active. We're talking first person singular, né? And then the perfect indicative active and the perfect middle or passive indicative, and then the aorist passive. Okay? Will you be able to remember that? Please remember that. If I give you a word and say pass, or give me the 6 principal parts, or 5, because I will have given you lu'ua already, which is in the present indicative active, then you have to take it from the future aorist perfect active, and the perfect middle passive, and the aorist passive. Will you be able to do that? Okay, please. So that is actually our last principal part of the verb. And let's look at the forms of the aorist passive. The forms of the aorist passive indicative are as follows. Let's look at how we form them. Maybe let me just... Okay, we have the eluthen. I underlined the the suffix just to show that that is the marker. How will we describe it? The main characteristic, okay, of the Wolfkenmerk, yeah, the main characteristics of the aorist passive indicative. How do you see it? How do you identify it? You will always see that the the suffix. It's very, very important. Eluthen and then you have eleuthes and eleuthe. When you look at the first, I mean at the singular forms, they look like they are inverse. Most of the time, you will start with eleuthe, eleuthes, and then the n. Just like in your present indicative active, luo, lueis, okay? And then luen. You remember that. The n ending, most of the time, is your third person singular. But then, you start with the n in the first person singular, not third person. And then the s is always there. And then the eleuthe, which is a bit of change when it comes to the aorist indicative active. And then eluthemen in the first person plural, and then eluthete, and then eluthesan. Just a bit of notes about this. The aorist passive is formed by adding the suffix the, something that I was emphasizing now. Look at that. We add that suffix the to the verb stem, or to the stem of the verb. All right? Look at lu, uo, and then we add the the morpheme, the the suffix. From the stem, we add the the. In all the occurrences, you can see that that's how we form them. Okay? And then, secondly, the augment is to be expected. Why? Yes, it's aorist. It's a secondary tense. Good. The augment is to be expected since the aorist is a secondary tense. Still the same old stuff that we know. There's no change. Once you deal with a secondary tense, then there must be an augment. Primary tenses, no augments. Okay? And the fact that it's an aorist, what type of an action does it denote? Speak like a Greek student now. Not just past, that's, yeah.
It's something that happens in the past, but as a effect in the present.
You're telling me about the perfect now. The perfect is something that happened in the past, that with a continuing effect, or the effect continuing to the present. But what about the aorist?
Completed action in the past.
Yeah, it is action in the past, but what type of an action? That's the emphasis here. Yako, you're sleeping. What type of an action?
It's not an undefined.
Undefined action in the past, or a simple action in the past, which is very, very important. Please, Yandre, correct that, please. Okay. And then, lastly, regarding the formation of the aorist, the endings are added directly to the the suffix without a connecting vowel. What are we talking about here? Look at the the, and there comes your ending. Okay? And then after that also, look, after the the, then comes the person ending. And in all the occurrences there. Okay? Will you be able to remember how we form the aorist passive? Let's start maybe with another verb, luo. In the present indicative active, then you have luo. In the future, lusuo, yes. In the aorist, Mukesh, it's not a guessing game. lu'ua, and then in the future, lusua, and then we come to the aorist. We're talking aorist now, so it must be a something. It's the secondary tense. Elu, elusa, the sa suffix, okay? Elusa, and then we're going to the perfect. The perfect, there's a tendency of reduplication. Le, lelu, leluka, good. And then the perfect passive or middle, lelu, lelu kamen, good. And then now the sixth one will be eluthen. That's how you do the horizontal conjugation. Okay? Will you be able to remember that? Once you master this, then there are no other difficulties in terms of the tenses. We are done with the indicatives. Now we go to the non-indicatives. Okay? Subjunctives and participles and imperatives and infinitives. Already I've been introducing the infinitives to you, so it is just to elaborate on the knowledge that we have already. Okay? But the tenses, I can tell you, these are the most important things. Of course, the participles are very, very important also. Very, very, very important. Because some of them are adverbial. They have everything to do with the verb. And some of them are adjectival, and they have everything to do with the noun. So we will just be building on what we have already, on the verbs, our knowledge of verbs and nouns. Okay? Any questions so far? With the formation of the aorist passive? Are we okay? All right. Okay, now how do we form the, what's going on now? The formation of the future passive. The forms of the future passive indicative are as follows. Why? And my question will be, why are we introducing it so late and together with the aorist passive? I want you to remember why. Because they share this common, the the suffix. Ne. That's why I'm introducing them together in lesson 16. Their character or the characteristics are much similar. Okay? So you have here the lu, the, somai. Again, what does it tell you? When we form the future passive, then it goes to be a deponent. Okay? Actually not a deponent, because these are actually the passive forms. Sometimes they are middle in some other tenses, like the present indicative. The passive forms are like that. But then, with the future, let's go back to the future indicative active. What are the traits? We have seen lusuo, okay, and then lu, says, you remember them, and then lu, sen, lu, somen, lu, sete, and then lu, sosin. Just like your present indicative active, but what is the difference? The main thing is that sigma, okay? Now going back to the future passive, the sigma is still there, okay? But before the sigma and the person ending, the suffix is added to the stem of the verb. So therefore you end up with lu, the, somai, lu, the, sei, lu, the, setai. Now, the best way to build this is to take that out, or actually take that out altogether with the sigma. What are you left with there once you take those out? Who can guess? There? The present middle indicative or the present passive. Okay? There you have lu omai, lu a, lu setai, and lu so metha. Alright? And so forth. But then, so we build this from the present passive or present middle passive, lu omai, but then you come and put your the sigma, which is the the and the sigma ending of the future. Then you have the future passive. I will be loosened. Okay? Hulle sal losgemaak. They will be loosened. I just mixed English and Afrikaans. And then sy sal losgemaak word, of sy of that sal losgemaak word. Okay? Again, will you be able to remember this? Actually, you don't have a choice. Okay? We don't have a choice but to remember it. Jandre? Het ons gekies. There's always a choice in life, but here you don't have a choice. We have to remember this. Okay? Then let's go to page 92, and look at the aorist passive infinitive. I couldn't put it on here. You have the luthenai. Okay? Luthenai. And that is the only infinitive you have to learn in as far as the aorist passive is concerned. But then, remember lesson 23 or something there, we will deal specifically with all the infinitives and how to explain various kinds of infinitives and so forth in various forms. So we will revisit the infinitive afterwards as we make a summary of everything. But then just learn them for now. And then I want us to look at the vocabulary before I give you, how do I always remind you of all that. How do I analyze a verb in the aorist or future passive? Then it's the same old stuff. You must tell me the time, the aorist or future, it's indicative, passive, the person, the number, dictionary form, the meaning of the dictionary form, and explain. The explanation is still the same. The future, the simple action in the future or a promise in the future, and the aorist, undefined action. The only difference now is that we are talking passive. And what does that mean? Explain the passive to me like a Greek scholar. It's happening to me. I know you can explain it. Just give it a thought. What is happening there? If the action is passive. Okay, let's start with the active action. What's going on when the verb is active?
It's active the ball, and passive will be.
Explain it. That's recognize and explain. Remember those. I said it's not just decoration. We must be able to explain what we are doing. How can you explain the indicative verb, the active verb to me? What is the difference between the passive and the active?
An action repeated. I can explain it in a sentence like Active will be, I kick the ball.
Explain that. Explain, I kick the ball. What is happening there?
It's a present action.
Don't pass it for me. I want you to explain it. You understand?
Let me try. An action performed by a subject.
Good, excellent. The subject is performing what? The action. That is the active. And then the passive? Now, Yako?
The ball is being kicked by me.
No, leave the example. Stop kicking the boy and so forth. But explain to me then. The boy is the subject.
I don't want to kick a boy, I want to kick a ball.
Okay, you said the ball, not the boy. Okay. Oh, good. Good. So in the passive forms, in the passive, the action is performed upon the subject. Please, Yako, I want that explanation.
But Prof said it just now.
Yes, I mean, I will ask you time and again, I will ask you because this is very, very basic. Ne? In the active voice, the subject performs. Subject performs the action. But then in the passive, the action is, the subject is acted upon. The action happens upon the subject. Okay. Okay. Good. So please, and the explanation there, I was actually dealing with the explanation. Something in the future, the action or promise in the future, and an undefined or simple action in the past. Danny, you here or you home already? Long weekend. Be here. All right. Let's look at a vocabulary of lesson 16 and see how some aorist passive forms are formed. Sorry. Okay. The list, you have them there in page 92. Let's look at the verb therapeuo, something that you know already. I heal. What is that in Afrikaans? Ek genees. Yeah, okay. I was healed. I was healed. Look at the form there. You have your augment, e therapeuthen. Okay? I was healed. Luo, the one that we dealt with today, I was loosen, eluthen. That should be easier to you. And then pisteuo, ekhulo, I believe. Pisteuthen, I was loosened. Sorry, I was entrusted with. The meaning changes a bit from I believe, then I was entrusted with. Okay? And then poromai, I go. You remember those words? I go in, I go through, I go around, I walk around, and all those. Erchomai, dierchomai, eiserchomai, exerchomai, poromai, peripateuo. I love those verbs so much. Okay, good. And then you have poreuthen, I went. Akuuo, I hear. Remember the aorist, the augmentation rule. If the verb begins with a vowel, then the vowel lengthens. Ne. Okay, then you have the goes then. All those verbs, please, I give you the advice I've been giving you throughout. Learn them as new verbs. Don't struggle to convert them and so forth. No. Just look at them, that recognition and explaining. Read them and study them, learn them as new verbs altogether. And most of those are the ones that you have in the vocabulary list. And come next week when we write the test for 15 and 16.
15.
Yes, we've done 16 today. So next week it will be test number 3 on lesson 15 and 16. Let's look at, we still have some few minutes. Just one example, if you are following us on camera, our brothers out there, practice and review sentence number 1. Danny, just read for us the Greek, please. Apekrithe. Mm-hmm. Apestalen. Mu. Mm-hmm. Elemthen. Good. All right, Mukesh, can you identify some verbs for us in that sentence?
Yes.
I love it when you say yes. Okay, yeah. Where are the verbs? Apekrithe. Apekrithe. Okay? Can you try and pass that verb for us? You can see, okay? Do that on your own. Is it aorist?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Irish passive.
Yes. Aorist passive. Indicative, yeah.
Third person.
Ah.
Third person singular.
Look at it carefully. Like I took time explaining the first person, it looks like inverse. Nah. Where is this thing going now? Okay, we are busy with assessment. The forms, I'm looking for the forms. Look at that. The then, most of the time, would be your third person singular. Nah. But with the aorist passive, it is the first person. So what do we have there? You said it's the first person.
Third person.
You said third person.
Yes.
Is that so?
Yes, I said third person.
Then I must see the doctor. My ears are not working.
I was also confused now.
Is it?
Because he says third person.
Okay. Then I must see the doctor. All right, good. So it's third person.
Third person.
Mm-hmm. Singular.
Singular.
Of which word? From which word? Apokrinomai. What does it mean, Danny? Ask Mukesh. What does it mean, Mukesh? I answer. Okay? I answer. All right? And aorist, that undefined action, simple action in the past. Okay? Any other verb? Yandra? Tell Yaku to pass it. Ontleed dat vir ons asseblief. Pass it for us. Are you sure? You're not sure?
It's a noun.
It's a? Now you turned, it's not a verb anymore, it's a noun. Eh? No, but Yandra told you it's a verb, and I said yes, it's a verb. You just have to pass it. So now you're making things difficult for yourself. You say it's not a verb anymore, it's a noun. Okay, come.
Is it aorist?
It is.
Aorist, passive,
Mm-hmm.
indicative,
Yeah.
apostolua,
From which word?
from apostolua,
Apostolua,
apostolua, I say,
meaning I sent. Yeah, and that's what? Singular, yeah.
person,
Is it first person or third person?
third person,
No, first person. Look at the N ending, the then, okay? All right.
person, and
No, that don't mind about the action. It's just the kind of action. Who is doing what? That is on the semantic level, the meaning. And I will hear that when you translate now, that something is being done to the subject. Okay? Who wants to try and translate the sentence? We still have another verb, elemthen. Werner?
It's iris, passive, indicative,
Mm-hmm.
first person singular.
Of which word?
I can't remember.
Look at the vocabulary list. It's somewhere there. It's there. Of lambanua. Okay? Lambanua. It means?
I take,
Yeah. Or?
I receive.
Yeah. Okay. Good. I take. Remember lambanua? Look at how it looks here. It's an aorist passive. You remember the second aorist form of lambanua? Elabon. All right? Changes completely. Nah. All right. Who wants to try the translation here? Saram. This is unprepared. There's no excuse I'm not prepared, or we're doing it unprepared.
The slave answer to men.
Yeah, put it nicely now. Let it make sense.
Okay. The slave answer the men.
Yeah, the slave answered, or the servant answered the man. Okay? What did he say? Look at that apestalen. It starts with a capital alpha. It means it's in the inverted commas. It's a speech. It's a direct quote of what the slave said as he was answering the man. What did he say? Remember that apestalen is passive now. I was loosened. So, Mukesh, who wants to try? It will be ek was. Jy is losgemaak. Jy is gestuur. En apestalen, ek was gestuur. I was sent. Okay? I was sent to you, pros, yes,
By my Lord.
by my Lord or by my master. Okay? But
You did not take me into your home.
no, what is that elemthen? What person is that? It's first person still. So I was not,
I was not taken into
or I was not received into your home. You see how simple is that? Okay? Yes.
Sometimes I get confused. Can I use your house or house of you?
Your house.
Your house.
Yeah.
Sometimes when coming to
We are
this-
no longer in Shakespeare's time. The house of you. It's your house.
No, it's just that I want to emphasize the genetics thing.
Oh, no. I will understand at this stage. If we were still doing lesson 1 and 2, I will understand, yeah, the sister of you. And that's how I used to teach you, okay? So that you can at least master the genitive. But now we have gone through so many lessons. So if you say your sister or my book, it does not have to be the book of you or the book of me. It's not Shakespeare's time anymore. Okay? Right. Let's look at sentence number 5. Still have some few minutes. Yeah. Yako, read the Greek for us. Sentence number 4, sorry. Good. If you're following us on camera, please, it's sentence number 4 that we are doing now. Sentence number 4. Jaco just read that for us. Werner, just help us identify some verbs. Eporithe. Just pass it for me. Mukesh will correct you. Mukesh, you must be listening to him. Correct him if he's wrong.
Aorist passive indicative.
Uh-huh.
Third person singular.
Third person singular, yes. From which word? Mukesh? Poromai, okay? Yeah, if you get some problem somewhere, ask Mukesh, he will tell you. Okay? So that is that from Poromai. What does it mean, Dani? Vocabulary. What does it mean? Poromai? I said it's one of those words I love so much. I go. Okay? I go. Good. Another verb? Any other verb? You have keruksai there. Though it's not an indicative, but I want you to tell me something about it. What is it? Yanra? That's the beauty of a small class. I'll come to you. Yeah? It's a bad thing. You can't sleep. No, you're not here to sleep. Yandre? Try and pass that keruksai for us. And Dani, you will be looking at Egrafesan. Keruksai. Come. Let's finish off. That's an infinitive. It's an aorist infinitive. Come, Jaco. I see you are in Lotrechad already now for a long weekend. Huh? Come back. Okay, so that is an aorist infinitive. Now, if I may ask you, what type of an infinitive is that? What is its function? Okay, let's first translate the sentence. But Dani, help us with Egrafesan. What do you see in that verb? You see an augment is there. You say? So it's aorist. Come, Dani. It's third person, but what? You can see it's third person. Is it something similar to this? The Esan?
Okay, so it's aorist indicative passive.
Yeah.
Third person plural.
Yes. Of which word? From which verb? Grafua. What does it mean? Are you sure? Are you sure grafo means I write? Dani? Are you sure? Are you sure? Eh? You think you are sure or you are sure? Okay, you are sure. So grafo means I write. Okay, good. Let's try and translate that sentence. Werner, pass for us that he adelphe. I've not been asking you nouns, so this, not so much, but I presume you know them. What is that? Tell me 7 things about that word.
It's a noun.
Yes, obvious.
Feminine
Feminine. Okay, we're dealing case number and gender now. Noun, feminine,
Nominative.
not genitive.
And it's nominative.
Are you sure? Okay, so you're sure it's nominative. Okay, I agree. Good. And what else?
Singular.
It's singular. It's not plural. You sure?
I'm sure.
Okay, good. And then of Adelphi, meaning sister, and then explain. You said it's nominative. What does the nominative case denote?
It is the subject.
The subject. Okay, of which verb? Subject of eporothe. Okay, good. So we have now the subject and we have the verb, and you have the genitive there, humon. Mukesh, can you translate that for us?
Your sister.
Your sister, yeah.
What priest?
There?
What priest?
We look at poromai, I go, and then the passive form say, I went. I went. So your sister went. Proston laon. Laos. To the people, not with the people. Your sister went to the people to do what? To preach. So what type of an infinitive is that? What type of an infinitive is that? No? You don't have any theluo or any other dunamai or anything. What is the purpose of your sister? I have said it already. The dul's infinitive, is the purpose. Then infinitive denoting what? Purpose. The reason for going, the purpose for going. It was for her to go and do what? To preach. Okay? Good. And then to preach what? Then Aletheian. Aletheian, are you sure is the truth?
Yes, it's true.
Are you sure? Okay, all right. If you are sure, it's okay. So your sister went to the people to preach what? The truth. And hoilogoi? The words afters, or afters. Can you pass afters for us, Mukesh? Yeah.
It's a pronoun.
Personal pronoun. Good.
First person.
No. Sorry for you, Mukesh. Third person, personal pronoun. So we're talking he or she or it. I, eguo, su, you, and then aftos, the third person. Okay? Let's finish up. It's a genitive, ne? Yeah. So her words, ne? Her words. What happened? Were written in the Biblion or Viblion. In the book, in the Bible. In the book. Okay? So that's good. Your sister went to the people to preach the truth, and her words were written in the book. Thank you so much. And then for next week,